Hi Lee, how you doing today? Um, as promised, I will go over our last game and hopefully we can learn some things from it. And I'll try to keep it as understandable as possible. And here we go. We started out. I went d4. You went c6. This is kind of an odd opening here. If we look over at the openings book, these are this shows all the moves in the opening. This is what all the move twos that are in the database, and these are the number of games they have been played. And this is the percentage that white has won, the percentage of those games that white has won. This is the average rating of the player who made that move in the database. This is the performance rating of that move. So basically the higher performance rating is what the computer considers would be the best move in that position. So now let's go back to your move. If you notice, if you look at the very beginning, in this database I have here, there are 5,929,454 games in it. And these are games from pretty much the best players in the world. So, and as you can see, starting at E4, over 3 million people started E4. And D4, almost 1.9 million started with those. Those are by far the two most common moves. And the reason is you know, one of the main things you want to do is control the center. And that's followed by knight f3, which is 462,000, c4, 393,000, f4. Now, so I went d4. Then your move, c6. As you can see, it's way down on the list. 7,613 games in the database with c6 in this position. 60.6% of the games white has won. The average rating of a player that made d6 or c6 is 1951. Performance rating is 1932. As you can see, there are quite a few better moves to be made. However, I know you like trying to cross me up with things I haven't seen before, which is good because it helps me learn these things as well. And if I just learned all the main lines, all the main openings, then when somebody plays something odd against me, I wouldn't know what to do. So this is good practice for me as well. But you played c6, and this would have been okay. As you can see, there are several responses available to that, and I moved my bishop out here. What I've been working on is a opening called the London opening, and this is the starting of it. Your next move was a strange one, and definitely, you know me, I definitely do not recommend it because you brought the queen out too early. Even though it is check, it doesn't really get you anywhere. And as you can see, look at queen a5. Nobody in the whole database knows almost 6 million games of the top players has played that, and we're only on move 2. So anyway, it's not recommended. It doesn't put you behind a whole lot. It just kind of puts you a little bit behind in development. And as we go through this game, you can see how important development is. So now since we're out of the openings book, let's go back to our game here. Instead of queen a5, recommended moves are d5. Going back to the openings book, as you can see, quite a few. d5, 971, knight f6, 65, and d6, 28. And as you can see, probably the best move of them. Oh, queen b6, 2255, and f5, 2335. I haven't really looked at these. Let's take a look, but only 3 games. So if we go f5, that is very interesting. And black has won 4 games. White has won 2 and 2 draws. So this could very well have been an option for you. With the king here, it's pretty much called the Dutch. It converts it to the Dutch opening, and it is interesting. If we continue from there, as long as basically you're still making developing, making top moves, and so on. Development is the most important thing than just to learn openings. Okay, so let's go back. So I move my bishop, d5. Could have been an option. Knight f6 to continue development. Here's d6. Even queen b6 would have been an option. As you can see, the queen bears down on this unprotected pawn here. And probably the best move for white at this point would be either to protect with the queen or push it, maybe. But it also, the queen also attacks that piece. So even though you brought the queen out early, here it's not too far out, and it's doing something. So something like this would even be okay. But as you can still see, not very many people, top players in the world plays that. But it wouldn't be too bad either. So something to think about. So back to our game here. You went queen to a5. I could have blocked with a knight here, but I didn't really want to have it pinned. Because pins, I know with pins, I taught you about pins and they're tough. I love pins. All these tricks you've learned from me, which is awesome. And I see that you try to utilize them quite a bit. And you've done very well. I think once you get your opening principles and your development down, I think you'll be even more and more tougher. But instead of my knight, I blocked with a pawn. There's nothing wrong with that. I planned on bringing my knight out to this square anyways, a little bit later. And you went knight to a6. Now, this move I do not like. I'm not sure what your motivations were, but it's not able to go to that square because it's covered. It's not able to go to that square because it's covered. And moving your knight out to the side, that is not usually a good idea anyway. I'm not sure if you plan to bring it here and then out to here or even here. That would have been okay, but however, you're looking at 1, 2, 3 moves to get it there. And one of the opening principles is try to only move your pieces when you're developing once until you're finished developing. Whereas move at 3, that really puts you behind in development, and then you have these pieces here that are stuck and not developed in this piece. In the meantime, in 3 moves, I could develop my knight here. I could push this pawn and develop my bishop, and I could develop this knight. And so that's 4 moves right there that I could do while you're just trying to move your knight. And get behind in development is tough. It's tough to come back from. So this move I do not recommend. So let me go ahead and put a question mark on that one. Okay. I'll also put a little question mark on Queen A5. Question mark. There you go. Now let's see. Now I move my knight A2 or knight D2. I told you that was a good move. Now what I can do from here, which is what I was looking at, is move my knight here or move this knight here, which will attack your queen. It'll make you move your queen and you know, get you behind another piece in development. If you move your queen out somewhere this direction, say here, you know, I just planned on pushing that pawn anyway, so it just helped me. Now your queen's way out in the open, and your pieces still aren't developed. So let's go back. You went E6. One thing I don't like about this move either is it further blocks in your white bishop here. Because the white bishop, you know, you'd have to move this pawn in order for the bishop to go here. Oops, not there, but here. But then this pawn blocks it in too. So I'm not a big fan of that. I know you're trying to bring your bishop out here to develop it. However, if you look at it, you don't have that square, that square, that square, or that square. You only have one square for your bishop there. So that's okay, but what I would have done instead would be maybe to push this pawn here, G6, and then fianchetto your bishop, bring your knight out, and castle. That's probably what I would have liked to do if I was in your position. Or alternatively, you know, let's see, knight D2, E6. Okay. Then let's see, I go E4, controlling the center, and then you go knight F6, which is good because you're developing. And bishop D3, I'm developing and also protecting my pieces, attacking the center. Then you went D5, and that's good because that attacks the center, and you do have good backup, and you can also get your bishop out from the back rank at least. At the present time, you're struggling with your pieces behind, you know, not many pieces for your bishops, squares for your bishops. You only have this square for your black bishop, this square for your white bishop. And that's pretty much it, which makes it tough. Or if you look at my bishop there, I have plenty of squares. So and they're also backing up these squares here. See that? Now, so let's go knight. Let's see, I went knight F3, which is again continuing developing, attacking the center. If you move your knights to the side, they're no longer attacking the center of the board. Or if you move your knight here or your knight here, they are attacking the center. Because your knight is attacking that piece, is protecting that piece, is attacking that square, and I mean, this is a very good place where this knight here is just covering that square forward, and this square, you don't have anything in that square. So think about that one. You went c5. That was a very good move to help break up the center, and I didn't have any good. I mean, I take. You would probably take. I would like. If it was me, I'd probably take with the knight there. That's a great place for my knight. So that's why I didn't do that. If I just took immediately here, you just bring your knight out, and me taking just helping you out of your development problems there on that side of the board. So I went e5, closes the center, forces you to move this very valuable piece here. And I wasn't too worried about you moving it forward. Probably this square, I probably wouldn't have minded this square, but I can always go out here with my bishop, or I could go back with my bishop, or I can go here. This is one thing I've been looking at a lot lately. Trading bishops for knights. Usually bishops are normally a little bit more powerful than knights. Probably about 3 to 2.9, 2.8 for the knights. But it also depends what your strengths are. I think they're talking about on average. Once you trade pieces off, having the bishop pair is more important than having a knight pair on what they call an open game. But this here, since our pawns are blocking each other, this is considered a closed game. It could be opened, but right now it's a closed game. So for me, the knights are more important. Anyway, if I go there and you take, I would take this direction. What this does is it opens up the whole aisle for my rook to be attacking here. Now, if you castle kingside, I have this very powerful piece there, and I can also push this pawn up there to help the attack. I have a knight. I have my queen that can run over to that square, backed up by the rook. That is one thing I do not recommend here before castling, to trade the knight for that bishop because of this open aisle. And then white at this point would be focused on probably either keeping the king in the center or castling. But the king would probably want to move up to that square, so this rook can come over. So look at all that power. That's just from a knight trade. Knight, bishop g3, take. That's it. So something to think about. So I went e5, and I think you made the wise decision to bring your knight back to d7. I think a lot of people would have done that. And then I castled. Since you move your knight back, we don't have the trade here of the bishop and take. So then I'm safe to castle. You went c4 to further close the center, and I understand that. However, if it was me, I think since you have the queen and the bishop and the knight there, I probably would have taken. Take, probably, if I take with the knight, then you have your knight open for that square, threatening my bishop. So that would have been okay for you, and keeps everything open, to where if you move your bishop out and then castle here yourself, you'd be in a good spot too. I don't think this would have put you back too far. Another option after taking, if I took with my pawn, that of course opens you up here, bishop maybe. So this does not favor me at all. So c4 actually helps me move my bishop back, of course. It's another thing that I'm thinking about is the open aisle. Whoops, not to the queen, but open aisle this direction. And then pinning that knight. And since it's backed up with the queen, we can do that. You bring a bishop out, and you're probably thinking about castling here, which would be good idea. Of course, I was thinking about that. So then I move the queen to b1. That does eliminate this move here, because queen is no longer backing up. However, of course, more important is this guy right there, and that's the main reason I did it. But also brings the queen over here to try to open up the queen side with a push. And you did the only thing that you could have done. But this also puts a kink in maybe your kingside castling plans. Maybe a little bit. So now, instead of going a6, what if you would have went g6? Then I would have brought bishop there. And now all your dark squares are weak around your king. So you don't really want to do that, because that makes my dark square bishop valuable. If you move back to try to trade, I'm not going to take it. I will keep this bishop back to harass you in the future, keep you from castling, things like that. So there's something to think about. So you went h6, which was the best move in my opinion. Rook c1, so I can bring in more firepower over here for the push. Probably kind of overdid it, but I also am thinking about my knights. Where do I want my knights? You know, if I have all these pieces here for my queenside push, that's pretty much all I need. But on my king side, I'm going to need some defense. So I'm thinking about where am I going to put my knights, and moving the rook off of that square is have me. You know, I'm thinking knight here and knight here, and that would be a good spot for both of my knights. It controls a lot of this area here now in front of my king, and my king's protected. I don't have to worry about my king. Then I can just worry about this push here. Also bringing this bishop back, it keeps my rooks and queen connected, where if I brought it back before I moved it, the rook would be cut off. So something to think about there. You went g5. That is a good move. Pushing on the king side. However, you need to be careful because you're still not castled. Your king is in the center of the board, if you over push and I can overtake you on the king side, that wouldn't be good. Since the center is closed, you might want to think about moving the king up a square, keeping it in the center, but moving it up, or like you did before, castling. Here's one idea for you, is to move that out and then bring this bishop here. And then you did castle kingside before, but castling, I don't think castling queenside would be good either, as we found out later, because I'm trying to open up the queen side, and you don't want your king there. But you still want to bring some power over the king side to where you can overwhelm me. Set it up first. But what put you behind was these two pieces developing. The development, this bishop not being developed, it closes off all these pieces here from attacking my king. See, I brought my bishop back, of course. Knight f8. That's good. You're thinking about bringing everything back over here to the king side. That's very good. Bishop back. Now, this was a mistake. I brought the bishop back because I wanted to push that pawn. So therefore, I needed to protect the pawn from your queen, because your queen could have taken it. However, what I did not see is if I pushed, your queen could have taken it anyway. Here's the reason. Take, sacrifice a knight, take, bishop. Now your queen is trapped. And interesting. But I did miss that. So therefore I brought my bishop back so the rook can protect the pawn, so I can push the b pawn. Now you went f6, and the computer didn't really like that move, but to me it was okay, because if I take, you take, and now you got your bishop out here, you can get your knight out here, and now you have some attack here on the king side. Well, yeah, your knight couldn't have moved out yet because of the queen, but I thought it was a good move. Now you can move your king up, bishop out, and connect your rooks. f6. I didn't take because of that. I went b3. So now I'm ready to try to open up the queen side. You went f5 to further close, which was good for you. I mean, now you have these three pawns here, out here, ahead of the center pawns that you can push down to me. You know, the problem is you need backing, and you don't have very many pieces back here. Still, you need your rook here, you need your queen here, you need your king out of the way somewhere. This knight needs to be in a better place, and so on. But f5, I thought that was a very good move for you. So after f5, I went knight f1. So, because of course I know you probably saw it, and me too. Therefore, if you went here, I'd have a square to where if I didn't move my knight, my bishop would be trapped. So therefore I had to move my knight. But I'm also thinking, you know, knight here again later. But then again, if you push, then my knight doesn't have any of these squares right now. So I went knight f1. You went bishop to a3 all the way here. That was a good move. It does slow me down a little. But one thing it does do, though, is it removes another piece from the kingside attack. But have a plan and execute it. If it doesn't work, then develop a new plan. I do it all the time. The bishop a3 attacks my rook. I move my rook up. I'm still in a good position. It does, however, block my queen, which is good for you. It keeps me from moving pieces to that square. So that's a good move for you, I thought. UNG4, which there you go. You're still pounding me on the king side. Do I have enough pieces there? I believe so, but we would have had to see. Maybe we can play a game starting here. I think I can set that up and then see if we're able to, with the new information, see how it goes. So UNG4, I move my knight back here. I was thinking about moving my knight here to get it going towards this direction to help out, but I liked my knight here because one idea I had was to push that pawn to bring the knight out here and then to one of these squares. Those would have been excellent squares for my knights. So bishop g7, good. Developing your pieces off your back row, and of course you're bringing your knight into the action, or your bishop into the action here. Knight to g3. There's one idea to get my knight out there. If you had your bishop out this way, or if you had some way to protect the square, maybe with the rook. Maybe if your rook was here, that push would have been great for you to fork both of my pieces. But that didn't happen. So we have you went h5. That was a good move because I had planned to get my knight there and get it behind enemy lines and place it right there on that spot, protected by that pawn. That would have been an amazing outpost for it, because that knight would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, all these amazing squares to attack, and it's protected. That was my goal. But you pushed the pawn, and that kept me from doing that. So I thought that's a great move. I am going to give you a exclamation point on that one. Knight e2. So there I am. My knight here, I figure, it's stalled. So what can I do now? So knight e2. And my goal is to get it up there. That's still a great outpost for it. I thought it attacks that pawn and that pawn. So you have to keep them protected and keep your pieces busy. You went bishop to b5. That's good because you're still protecting, attacking your the queen side that I'm trying to open up, and this side, more of my pieces are coming off of this side. Knight f4. There we go. I get my knife to the spot I wanted. Now this knight here is bogged down protecting this pawn that I'm attacking. So now this knight can't move right now. What you probably wanted to do at this point would be to get your king up here, because that protects the pawn. You could have brought your king in either one of these three places, because that protects this pawn. It frees up this knight to go wherever you need it. Well, you know, it can't go there, but this side, and go this side, and then into there. That would have been a great spot for your knight. But you castle queen side, which is okay. You know, you do have defenses here, so opening up the queen side for me at this point would be a tough act to do. But also the king side stalled. So at this point, I think it's very much drawish at this time. Could have gotten a draw. G3, that to open up this knight here and here. This way, both knights are going to be attacking that square. To where if I brought one of them there, you take, I take. We'll bring it back. I take, and I have a knight here. You'd have to move your rook, but then the knight can come back over here and attack that pawn and that pawn, and you don't have this knight anymore to protect it. So that's what I was thinking at that time. Queen c7. That's good. I see what you're doing. Bring your queen in on the king side. The only problem is, do you have enough power here to keep me from moving in? We'll see. I think you do at this point. Then I bring my knight up where I wanted it to. Here's your queen g7. That was a good move. Gets it over on this side, but question is, what are you going to do? Where can you break open? And that's a question, especially once I get my knight there. Your pawns can't advance, so the only way to break me open is to, like you did, bishop back and take. But not sure if you have enough firepower to make that happen. And while you're moving that direction, then I can do my queen side break. That's what I was thinking there. You went knight to c7. Good. Gets it, finally gets it off of here and gets it onto a good square. Finally. That was move 24. So think about that. Look at how long it took, how long that knight had been out of the game, because it was moved to that square. Now I'm ready to open up the queen side, and this is where the game turned right here. You went bishop to a4, and you know, if you look on the surface, it looks like a good move because you're attacking my rook. This bishop's attacking this direction. This one's attacking this direction. On the surface, it looks like a good move. Even if I move my rook back, we can trade. But is that best? Let's see. I think the recommended move at this time is to bishop to take there. At there, I'd only have maybe a half a point lead, which is still most likely a draw. I don't have much to do here with these bishops. These bishops are really, really bogging me down over here. And this knight now is in a great spot. If you do the continuation on this, rook, your other knight back, which is something else to protect. Try to trade bishops there. You say, oh, that's okay, go for it. Because if I take, you take with your knight now. Now your knight is in an amazing outpost. Look at all the squares your knight has now. If you get a knight, a protected knight on the 5th rank, that is an amazing knight. That's a great outpost. That's what I've been trying to do. That's what I try to do with these, and that's what I try to do mostly in the game. That's like one of my number one objects, is to get a knight in a great outpost. I can't push it away because there's no pawns that can push it away. The only thing I could do is maybe set up to do a trade. But looking now, the knight is forking my two important pieces. I could just move, say, my rook here, and if you take, that's a favor for me, because now your knight's no longer there. You won't want to take, you want to leave your knight there because of the fact that it has all these squares. And trying to protect this bishop is putting this piece out of commission right here. So that's a good spot for your knight. So instead, bishop to a4 didn't work because rook to e2, and now, you know, with the bishops, bishop trade, queen takes. Now, what this does, to put it into perspective, it's what I was looking for. My queen now can go there, push this bishop out of the way, and attack up here. And I don't think you could have stopped it. So you take with the pawn, and then I move my queen up. You bring your bishop back, and then my queen goes up there and infiltrates your king. And the rest is a very tough game. Now you did go ahead and trade your bishop for my knight here, which does double up my pawns here. But what else can you do? You can't push this pawn, not because there's nothing you can do. So I still think I'm in good shape. I think maybe queen over, and then here might have been your goal. But with the firepower coming on the queen side, I don't think I have a thing to worry about over there. You brought your knight in for defense, so that's good. I brought my rook over here to attack. My goal is to bring the other rook over to back it up, and with my queen there, that's tough. b6. a4. To try to get rid of that pawn. Also what that does is keeps your knight out of there, even though it's not protected, but you know, something to think about. G3. So you did push a pawn. As you can see, there's really nothing there. I was looking at queen. Can queen get in there? Yes, but queen's pretty much the only thing that can get in there. And just one piece doesn't really hurt me. I can move my king up there and basically keeps the queen out. Queen can go there. You know, there. That's pretty much it. But all my pieces are protected. Even this pawn's protected. I wasn't worried about that, so I can continue to attack on the queen side here. Rook takes. Queen d7. I know you saw it. I saw it, and I know you were just doing this because of my last game. But I saw one, two, 3 ways to checkmate. But you know me, I'm stubborn. I did something else. Then I offered you a draw, since you're giving away your queen now. So, but it was a good game. We had a great game going up all the way until move 25. At this point, I think it could have been anybody's game. You take here. I'm up 4.12 on the move you made. If you would have taken with the pawn with the bishop, 0.51. It would have been pretty much a draw. So that there was the deciding factor. Well, I hope you learn a lot in this game. And in summary, the big thing is bring the queen out too early. Don't like that. And knight to a6. Those are the 2 moves that I think hurt you the worst. E6 blocks this in, but you know that's not as critical because one thing, when your bishop's blocked this way, you can always bring it up and fianchetto. Let's see. Let's just go through real quick. Good. C5, good move. E5, blocking the center. Knight D7, castle. Okay, that was good. Bring bishop back. And bishop E7. That's good. I think this move here, keeping you from castling pretty much, might have been a small factor. However, since the center was closed, I think all you needed to do was move one of these pieces out and move the king up, and then your back row would have been developed. Rooks would have been connected. You can move it either way. A lot of mobility back there. H6, Rook C1, G5. Always think, remember, I'm always thinking about where do I want my knights, finding good outposts for them. And if you think about that too, then that would be a good improvement for you. Another thing, worst piece. Find your worst piece and try to find a good square for it. I always say take your worst piece and turn it into your best piece. And I think that's pretty much it. So that's a good game, Lee, and I hope you learned from this.